man-to-man coverage. 4th and 3. Game on the line. Williams lofting one for a Duke. He caught it! He caught it!
Kamara in at tailback. He's got 5 rushing touchdowns. And now 6. Tied for the most all time.
You're listening to the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen, Matt Hartman, and Ryan Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. All 3 of us. We're all good. So, welcome back to the Pigskin Project, episode 166. Ladies and gentlemen, I am rusty a little bit. Apparently, some new changes to the site. So, still ironing some things out as far as the production side of things. A little weird. But we have a lot to talk about. So, without further ado, Ben, your camera's on. Thank you. How's everything going?
Oh, no, I'm doing great. I mean, you're lucky that it's on. It took a lot of willpower for me to turn it on. All right.
It's a special
the bit is dead. The bit is dead at this point, but I might have to start it up again, but that's regardless. No, I'm doing great. It's been a good week. Finally got my hands on college football where I didn't before. It's a great game, fantastic game. But no, I'm doing great. Matt, how you doing? Oh, love the flag too. That wasn't there before. It's a great banner.
Banner is hung, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I made that myself. So I'm proud of it now. It's right in the frame perfectly. But chat, we are doing great. Got the hand going. We get to talk about my team and how bad they are today. So that's exciting. But let's do news.
Yeah, let's get into it. So weekly news. We're going to start off on a subtle note. Not going to be covering it too much because, you can do your own research when it comes to this. But Browns running back Quinshon Judkins has been arrested with a domestic violence charge. It's getting kind of gross, you know what I mean? It's all over the news right now. You probably live under a rock if you haven't heard about this yet, but definitely look it up, do your own research with it because we're not going to get too graphic on the show. Next, there's a lot of unsigned second-round picks going into training camp. Gentlemen, you want to tell our audience about that?
I'll go. All right. Yeah. So Trey Harris of the Chargers is one of the first holdouts of second-round picks. Currently, Carson Schlesinger and Jaden Higgins were the only 2 second-round picks to get signed so far, and they have been fully guaranteed contracts. Unprecedented for the second-round pick threshold, but because of those certain picks, 33 and 34. Those 2 teams were willing to give out fully guaranteed contracts, much like first-round picks. That has sent a tailspin to every second-round pick because now every second-round pick wants fully guaranteed money. So it's Trey Harris is the first of a holdout. I imagine we'll get some holdouts. I imagine some will sign here. You'll get in the middle here and there, but for the most part, it's the contracts are sticky right now for rookies. So and it blame Nick Caserio for giving Jaden Higgins a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah, those happened super early on. I mean, within I don't know, a week or so of the draft happening.
They happened in May.
Yeah, both of those contracts got signed, and then from there, not really much has happened. It's again, no one wants to pay their second round picks fully guaranteed money, but now all these second round picks, as Matt had said, can point out to that and be like, well, hey, look at those guys. Those guys got fully guaranteed money. We're not signing unless we get fully guaranteed money. And then again, not to touch too much on it, that is also kind of the interesting factor in what Ryan had said about the Quinshon Judkins thing. He's not technically under contract. So if stuff plays out the way that we kind of are expecting it to play out, they don't have to pay him anything because he's not under contract. So if
how much different is this from the Michael Hall stuff? Didn't Michael Hall have like very similar like things happen around this time, like prior to the season? So I don't know.
Yeah, but Michael Hall was
Will
signed
that-
at that point.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, because Michael Hall was much more like closer to training camp. I actually think it happened during training camp for Michael Hall,
Okay.
which again, the Deshaun Watson stuff must have cursed him, but we'll leave it at that. But it's bad. They're kind of
Doesn't look
they have
good.
pretty bad precedent now of this stuff happening. Like 3 in the last 4 years of some pretty, not so good things happening with players not doing, good things.
Moral things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have more things on 2025 NFL draft picks to come later on, so stay tuned for that. Now, the next point that we're going to hit on, Terry McLaurin, not happy. So he's, probably getting into his last big money opportunity with the Commanders. He is kind of getting up there a little bit in age. And I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think him and DJ Moore were in the same draft class, right? I want to say so.
DJ Moore was a year before.
Yeah, I was
He
going to say,
2018.
I'm pretty sure DJ was the year before him. But
Let's see. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Year before. My bad. Super close in age, though. I would anticipate Terry to be looking for a similar contract, though. I mean, I don't think that that's something out of the.
It's the
realm of
DK.
possibility.
This is the
Yeah.
DK spiral effect. Like DK is getting paid 33 a year, and there's a ton of receivers like Terry being one of them is saying like, listen, I'm better than that guy, and
Yeah.
he is better than that guy, so he deserves that money. The only thing that's really interesting is that guys who have gotten paid in the last like 3 to 5 years at that position are not as old as Terry McLaurin is. He turns 30 second weekend of September. So it's unprecedented for him to get paid that money, like top 10 at the position even, because the only guy that compares is, I believe it's Ridley. Ridley hit open market, went to the Titans for $23 million. So it's just, I get why everybody's far apart, but for Terry's point of view, like, he stuck through Taylor Heineke and Sam Howell years to get to Jaden Daniels. Like, you have to pay him. You have to do it.
Yeah. Oh, you have to. This guy's like the heart and soul of this team.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially when you have a young guy like, Jaden Daniels coming in and slinging the rock the way that he is. I mean, Terry McLaurin's a huge, huge focal point of that offense outside of Jaden Daniels. And I mean, without Terry, that offense does not run the same as it did last season. So
And
I mean,
bet he's using that.
Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of leverage there. So, with that being said, I mean, I would say that it's fair to pay him that money. Maybe not as much, you know what I mean? It's a lot of money to be shelling out to a guy that's turning 30, like right as the season started. But, how long is this extension that, he's asking for? And, like how much is he asking for it to be guaranteed too? Because like, as he gets up there, like what are these injury risks and stuff like that, especially when you're anticipating him to be throwing the ball a lot more because you have a guy that can deliver that. It's a tough position to be in for sure. But Ben, what are you thinking, man? What do you have to add to it?
no, again, they absolutely should pay him. The fact that they are even questioning it and installing out is absolutely ridiculous to me. Again, he stuck it out through really, really rough years at the quarterback position for him to finally do this. He needs to get paid. And I mean, Devontae Adams just got paid $22 million. Again, I don't think he's quite as good as Devontae Adams, but he's definitely younger. Obviously, he's younger by 2.5 years compared to Devontae Adams. I think he should be paid probably within the $25 to $28 million ball range. So it really just comes down to how much he's asking for. But it kind of goes back to the conversation I have when it comes to re-signing these guys in general to big contracts. What other option do you have? It's not like you can just let him walk or trade him and say, well, we'll figure it out and plug in someone in his position. That's just not going to work. At the end of the day, you're going to have to pay him because you don't have another option.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention as well, I mean, every single season that he's been with the Commanders, no matter who's playing quarterback for them, I mean, he's still securing 1,000 yards. I mean, every single year that he's been in the league, with the exception of his rookie year, and even then, he finished with 919. Like, the guy's a good receiver, and I mean, you got to look at how many touchdowns he scored last season too. 13 of those things. It's crazy, man. And I mean, when you look at the previous years, I mean, 23 scored 4, and then 5, 5, 4, and then 7 in his rookie. Like, the way that he was able to perform in this offense specifically, with Cliff Kingsbury, it's spectacular. You know what I mean? The things that he was able to do with Jaden Daniels in his rookie year. Like, you're anticipating Jaden to go above and beyond after the rookie year. Well, you need the guy to throw it to, you know what I mean? If you're going to accomplish that, and if you're anticipating him to, look at Terry and how he's been projecting it throughout the league. If you're taking that into consideration during these contract talks, I would even compare him to Mike Evans at this point. Hey, like, if you're on Terry's side of the negotiation, right? If it's like, hey, I know I'm turning 30, but who's to say that I'm going to decline? Look at Mike Evans. He's putting up close to the same numbers as I have in my career. And, Mike's been in the league for 5 more years than I have. Like, this is something that I feel like I'm confident in doing, and I could do it with your guy. So if you're here for that, sign me. If not, let's think about something else. And unfortunately, it looks like it's turning in that direction. As speculation obviously is starting to kind of come up, and there's going to be frustration, and it's that time of the season. I mean, we're in the off season to where guys are starting to report to practice and everything, and it's like, wait, yeah, that off season was kind of nice. I'm rehabbing these injuries that I might have had, or my body feels great going into the season. I'm looking forward to it, except I kind of would like a pay bump. So this is stuff that you're gonna see, and that goes into our next points. To where there are teams that are smart and lock in their young players for a long amount of time. So, for example, the Jets making smart decisions. Like Matt said on Twitter, you don't see that very often. Sauce Gardner and the Jets agreed to a 4-year, $120 million extension. Garrett Wilson and the Jets agreed to a 4-year, $130 million extension. And then Jermaine Johnson got his 5th-year option exercised. Jets, A+, man. Congratulations on keeping these guys. And I just got to say, during my Jets schedule prediction, did not think this was going to happen. It's just, I mean, cut and dry. Thought this was going to go past training camp and everything, and didn't expect this one. But overall, I mean, just starting off with the Jets and their moves, heck of a move. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, they got signed 2 days after each other. I mean, this makes Sauce Gardner the highest paid corner in football. Pretty well deserved. I know he had a down year, and people are a little bit souring on him compared to previous
volatile
years.
Position. Throw it out.
Exactly. Exactly. Still one of the better corners, one of the top echelon corners in the league. It's a well-deserved contract. Half of that is guaranteed. Again, as you guys see, it's 4 years, $120 million and some change. $60 million that is guaranteed. And then for Garrett Wilson, it's pretty darn close. Of his 130, 70 of it's guaranteed. That one is a lot of money for the wide receiver that hasn't quite made the step up. Now, that was a conversation we had when we talked about the Jets. Where do you go from here? Does Garrett Wilson finally take that step into that elite wide receiver that, again, we had that conversation about on the Jets episode? But again, just like Terry McLaurin, are you going to let a young wide receiver who has top potential walk out the door? No. So you're going to go ahead and pay him. I like it. And, of course, I'm going to love the Jermaine Johnson 5th-year option. Big Jermaine Johnson guy. So
I just got to say, you made the elite wide receiver comment, right? Is he going to take that step into that? Garrett Wilson is probably one of, if not the, best receiver to fly under the radar because he's not on a flashy team. Look at who's been his quarterback over the last several seasons. Like,
he's not elite
dude
yet. Come on.
Okay, so we just talked about Terry McLaurin, right? He's putting up the same stats as Terry McLaurin. I mean, look at Garrett Wilson. I mean, he's put up 1,100 yards in 2 out of the 3 seasons that he's played. I mean, the guy's good. He's good.
He's
I
good.
mean, given the fact that
Exactly.
he's gotten more catches than McLaurin, I get that. But at the end of the day, like with what he's been able to make do, I would say this: without checking the stat book, right? Without looking into exactly what happened, I guarantee you didn't think that he put up 1,100 yards last season. That was a rough season.
He put. Oh, come on now.
You maybe not, but like
not...
you maybe, but like the casual fan, I mean, think about it. He flies under the radar so much. When you hear Garrett Wilson, you don't think about that high prospect anymore when it comes to, what he looked like coming out of college. You might. It's okay. But I'm saying the casual fan right now, looking at him just because of who he's played with, he's a Jet. Like, it's not something he's doing wrong. But like he made the money that he was deserved, in my opinion. I mean, 4 years, 130 million. Sure, it's a lot, but at the end of the day, the dude puts up good enough stats to where he can compete with that. And heck, who's to say that he can't perform higher? I mean, like I know that Justin Fields is going to be his guy, but like I mean, I think that it's
him that much money for him to put up 1,000 yards. Is my point, right? For him to put up 1,100 yards, you don't pay him that kind of money. But again, I think he has all the potential to eventually get there. And honestly, I would push back a little bit. I mean, I don't know what it is like there in Northwestern Indiana, but I think there's a big chunk of people that are actually probably higher on Garrett Wilson than what he actually is. Again, $130 million, I don't think it's a bad contract. By no means am I saying it's a bad contract. I'm just saying you pay him the $130 million with the expectation that he jumps into the top 10-ish of wide receivers. Because you'd be ludicrous if you said he was a top 10 wide receiver in the league today. You would just be wrong.
No, sorry, I'm not saying he's top 10. No.
Yes. And I think you have to be top 10 to be elite. Like, if you're not in the top 10, you can't call yourself, I don't know.
There's so many wide receivers in the league to where I feel like calling the elite just the top 10 would be kind of like ludicrous, in my opinion. There's so many good receivers to where it's like if you've got a guy,
right.
I'm just saying, like, for example, I mean, at that point, you can't call Terry McLaurin elite. You know what I mean? Or like, but these are game changers. These are game-changing wide receivers. And to me, it's the same term. You know what I mean? Like, I know that we could be arguing semantics right now. Regardless, there's a third person in this podcast that has yet to give us his thoughts. Matt, what are we thinking here, man?
Yeah, I mean, Ben stole it. You pay this money to hope he ascends even more. And I think that's kind of the way you think about it. I mean, what is that? That's 32 and a half AAV. I mean, that's sitting you right at the DK Metcalf number we mentioned, CD and Justin Jefferson, and then obviously Chase this offseason. So those were the only guys that are ahead of him. And 3 of those guys are the best in all of football at the wide receiver position. So, yeah, I think there is an expectation to ascend. And it's interesting because, like, you go from the Rodgers quarterback play to the Fields quarterback play, and it's much more chaotic and sporadic. And so, I don't know. I just, you paid market value on a guy that, like, listen, lumping both Sauce and Garrett into this is there hasn't been a Jets player who has been extended after their 3rd year, the first year you're eligible to be extended in the first round, since Muhammad Wilkerson. Not even Quinnen Williams got this tag. So this for the Jets is a good problem to have. We have good players that we have to pay a ton of money. Great for us. Like, that's kind of where you're at with this. And then lumping in the Sauce, like the $30.1 million AAV, Derek Stingley, who was picked number 3, the pick ahead of Sauce, got 30 this offseason. So, like, I think Sauce's agent should slide over, a check to Derek Stingley's agent and say, hey, thanks for making our negotiations easy, because that's all we had to do. Is just tack on a little bit more per year, and Sauce gets to parade around and say he's the highest paid corner in all of football, and then that gets you into one of my first thoughts was, how is Pat Surtain, the defensive player of the year, the reigning defensive player of the year, making $24 million AAV for the next 3 years or something like that? That was a stunner for him to, and he got paid at the right time. You know, he got paid after the 3rd year, but yeah, that was something that I mean, that immediately takes over my mind. It's like, I think Surtain's better, and he's getting paid cheaper. So I mean, you got to throw that in there too, and then lumping in Jermaine Johnson into this is like, if he could get healthy, and even for the Jets too, is they're probably gonna have a good problem next offseason when Will McDonald comes pay, you know, when he comes due to get paid. So I think the Jets are on the upswing. It's all about this new regime making it right.
Yeah, no, for sure. Speaking of young players getting extended, Trey Smith and the Chiefs agreed to a 4-year, $96 million extension. $70 million guaranteed. Pretty decent. I mean, this is expected. You know what I mean? As soon as that franchise tag was hit early on, what was that, March? I mean, you know, we knew that this was coming. It just probably, in my opinion,
though.
I was going to say, not only, yeah, it took a way longer than I had thought that it would have. Our man Ricky
all guarantees
on Twitter called it, but anyways, yeah, all guarantees more than likely. But I mean, to this Chiefs O-line that's taken a pretty decent hit this offseason, you know, this is a pretty big move that they needed to make before.
This was a choice. I will speak. Yeah. Them swapping out, they knew they couldn't pay everybody, so they swapped out the youth with Trey Smith at this number for Joe Thuney. That was their ideology, and
not a bad move.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And
really,
again, it's another plus move to have. Like, oh, we have another great guard who's 6 years younger. We have to pay. Oh no, oh bless us. So
yeah,
yes. It was good for them. Again, this was expected. They waited until like the last minute to do it. For those who didn't know. They literally got it done on the last day they could, and then if they didn't get it done on that day, they couldn't have extended him until that, you know, until the off season. So they waited until the very last day to do it, but they were able to get it done. But kind of the reason I was eager to jump in here, fun breaking news on the podcast. Commanders at least are expected to sign Von Miller because Von Miller posted something on social media saying that he is finalizing a contract with the Commanders. So details aren't like fully released yet. We don't quite know. I'm sure by the end of the podcast we'll know what those details are. But yeah, Von Miller
talked about the edge rusher position with that team a few weeks ago.
I know, right? I mean, we literally just talked about the concerns on that defense and how we wish they could have kept guys. So, I mean, they go out and they get, you know, what is considered one of the better veteran sacked artists of his time. So good for them, and, you know, some fun breaking news on the podcast. You don't often get that.
When you said Von Miller, I'm like, that's fun. Remember him? Dude, I mean, he hasn't seen the double-digit sack total since what? I mean, grand total 2021. That's what we're looking at. But I mean,
these are the guys available to sign in July. So that's kind of what it is.
Woo!
Yeah,
Von Miller.
Something.
Darius Smith is still unsigned. What are we doing?
He's signing with the Lions. Him and the Lions are just trying to work something out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. And then lastly, for the extension part of weekly news, my man Ryan Poles and the Bears agreed to an extension that keeps him with the Bears through 2029. I just want to say this is monumental. This is extremely I'm so happy, so overjoyed, and so many Bears fans that are not.
When you got to extend a guy with 15 wins in 3 years, you have to do it. I mean, that's
when you had the chance, you'd be remiss.
You got to do it.
Honest.
Listen. He is into the same amount of time as our head coach and our quarterback. So, this is when we make the huge decision. And hey, my front office finally figured out this whole carousel thing that we got going on. Not cool. probably not great either. So, good stuff. Good stuff.
That
And
was the most baffling part of it all for me. Was Bears fans like, oh my God, look at what we did. Like, congrats. Let's pat ourselves on the back. Our quarterback, young head coach, and GM are all aligned for the same years. Would you look at that? Congratulations, Bears. You're doing what any good organization does. Like, I'm glad that you were able to find this. But my Lord, the fact that we're like patting ourselves on the back for like the bare minimum, it is ridiculous and quite funny.
I'm struggling. I'm not used to competent moves like this. Like, please acknowledge the fact that this is very far and few and far between. Like, it's not a normal thing for us to do stuff like this. And hey, we did it. It's pretty cool. We also, sure, we haven't won a lot of games yet, but this guy did just put Jalen Johnson into an extension, and he's currently the 13th highest paid corner in the league, and he's pretty good. Like, he's not Pat Surtain, but he's pretty good. Like, I'm just saying, give the guy his flowers. He's made a couple boneheaded moves. Chase Claypool doesn't exist anymore. I don't know who you're talking about, but every GM does. If there's no perfect GM, now,
yes,
we can compare apples to apples all day if you really want to, but I'm telling you right now, I'm so happy about this move. Partly because my Bears did something and it's July, but pretty cool. So that's it. Oh, by the way, we have some cool jerseys to talk about. We're going to go ahead and start off with the team that's not in the division that we're talking about today. Chargers, new uniforms. When we dove into this and I posted it in the group chat, I was like, wow, what changed? And then Ben goes, hey, that yellow's disgusting. I'm like, whoa, hey, look at that. That yellow is kind of new, right? That's cool.
Maybe.
I'm a fan of it. The one thing that it reminds me of, do you guys remember the Color Rush uniforms from like the 2017, 2018 era? And like the Rams had that super disgusting mustard yellow jersey. Like, that's what that yellow kind of reminds me of, especially when you look at the socks that Herbo is wearing. But regardless, they did a really cool video on their socials with Harbaugh with the throwback navy blue. I don't know if you saw that, Ben, but like, they were like, do you want to put it on? And he was like, hey, playing days are over, but like coaching days are still here. So I'm not going to put this jersey on, but I'll definitely frame it because it looks just like the way it used to when I played. And it's like, that's exactly what they were hoping to do. But I'm a sucker for the Chargers uniforms altogether. I think that the colors pop out in ways that other teams don't. This is super flashy. This is exactly what you want out of an LA uniform, in my opinion. And both teams, LA, kills it. So I'm a fan of them, regardless of what color matchup that they do. But I'm gonna let my boys talk on what they think. Ben, I'll let you start.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and to the point. I love all of them. The Navy one is fantastic. That's where my eyes went to. But the yellow, I think the yellow is gross. It was funny. Ryan was like, I think it's one of the best yellows in the league. I'm like, well, there's only one other team in the league that does yellow right now, and that's the Packers.
Two. Steelers.
Steelers haven't done yellow in a long time.
Well, like, neither did the Packers, right? The Packers have their all whites, and you hate those. So.
Well, it's funny because you missed it, and I was talking about how much I love the Saints all whites, but that's besides the point.
Genius, by the way. Hey, I wasn't here for that. Matt, round of applause. Okay, look, I'm late to the party. I'll admit it. You did that, right? Totally. But
I'm a big fan of the all whites. We'll get into it in a second. I'm a big fan of the all whites we're going to talk about after this. But anyways, I like them. The yellow's not my vibe, but that's just me. I don't know. Matt, do you have any strong opinions?
When we do, because it'll happen, I'm going to wear those all yellows every time. Just letting you know. Matt, what are you thinking, man?
I'm just happy Quentin Johnston made the picture. That was where my eyes went when I first saw this. But yeah, I mean, the Navy does capture like LaDainian Tomlinson running around, Drew Brees before the Saints running around. So I think they did a very fine job on the throwback navies.
And then last but not least, the Buccaneers new uniforms. Never been a fan of the cream color. Not gonna lie, the orange creamsicle. Now these are better than like the all orange uniforms in my opinion. It's a nice little retro look for sure.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. Like I'm more of a fan of like the new age Buccaneers more than I am the old, and it seems to be a pretty uncommon opinion. So, but then again, I'm the guy that likes the neon green Seahawks uniform. So like who am I to judge, I guess? I don't know. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, again, I'm a sucker for the retro looks. I always will be. And again, not usually an all white fan, but I do like these ones again. I mean, good on the NFL. Back-to-back weeks, putting together two good all white uniforms that I like. That's saying a lot if you know me.
Matt?
Yeah, I enjoy them. I think they're nice looking. I like the sunset orange. I can get behind it.
Yes, the Dreamsicle's great. But
well, we talked about their uniforms. Boys, why don't we go ahead and talk about the team themselves?
Wait. One more piece of
absolutely not. No. Can't. No.
Juwan Jennings, man. Juwan Jennings. That he wants to. So he just got like that kind of mini extension last offseason, and now he's like, you pay me or you trade me, which is funny because the Niners are just not in position to pay anyone right now. And like Juwan Jennings, you put together a good year, but are you of the caliber to really be able to demand a trade right now? Like, of all the players, Juwan, stop it.
Because he's making $3 million, yes.
I think it's hard for him to demand a trade. He has one season, given it was the most recent season, where he's gone over 500 yards. And let's be honest, would he have even done that if Ricky Pearsall and Brandon Ayuk and CMC all didn't get hurt? Like, I get wanting more money, don't get me wrong. I just think he is one of the last dudes that's probably in the position to do it. And again, let's be honest, the Niners really can't. So he's going to, he's either going to have to play on that $3 million or he's getting traded because they just don't have the money to do it.
I think you could load it. I think you could give him a little bit of a raise.
I think it'd be
they
really
got $45 million in cap space in 2025. So like,
yes,
assume most of that would be used as rollover, which you could roll over cap into the next year. It's used plenty of time. I think if push comes to shove, which it should, because Pearsall is still a theory more than anything. McCaffrey's health is more of a theory than anything, and Ayuk. I think Ayuk said something on the internet this week too. Like Ayuk said something about
he's always saying something dumb,
getting moved. So yeah, I think Juwan Jennings being the one guy of like, hey, I'm reliable as hell, and I'm your dirty work guy. Like give me a little bit of a payday, and I think they should.
I think so, but then again, never really been a fan of this 49ers offense as of this season, as it is. So, like, they're such a wishy-washy team, but they have such an easy...
Yeah.
You're a
because you're a troll.
I feel this way. I genuinely feel this way. I don't like... For one, I don't like the 49ers. But for two, like, unless they're playing the Packers, in which thank you for doing God's work. But, I'm not a fan of the offense this year. I'm not. I don't know. You've got too many disgruntled people now, and it's not working. Too many people, too many cooks in the kitchen. I don't know.
Ryan San Francisco. Vibes are bad.
Brock Purdy, bad.
Why do you not like
Brock
him?
Purdy, overpaid.
bad vibes.
Christian
Well, it's funny
McCaffrey
because
made of toothpick.
we're getting into a team in this episode in which you are higher on than consensus, probably because of good vibes. Like that's why we're higher on one of these teams is because they have good, not because they actually did anything compared to last year, strictly just because they have good vibes.
It's July, man. You know, when I get those good vibes, you know. Hey, because Cal Raleigh hit 54 home runs, I placed a bet that Caleb Williams was throwing over 4,000 yards. Okay, thanks FanDuel for the bonus bet. But
tailed.
Yeah, good man.
I'm doing it every year until he does it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Plus 200, you have to. Anyways, yeah, all good vibes, dude. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to dive into this. I don't know. First, I don't know. You want to do that team first? You want to do Bucks first?
Let's do good vibes. We'll do good vibes.
Okay.
Good vibes, Matt.
Good vibes. We're not doing the Saints first. I'll tell you that. Not that.
Yeah, definitely not. If we're talking about good vibes, we would not be talking about the Saints.
No, absolutely not.
You want to break down the good vibes team for the podcast?
I sure can. Talking about the Saints. But the Panthers last year went 5-12, fourth in the division, missed the playoffs. Their offensive EPA per play was negative .040, 23rd. Their pass block win rate was 52%, 30th, and their run block win rate was really good because they signed Robert Hunt and they had Taylor Moton and they signed Damian Lewis. They were 10th in run block win rate. Their defensive EPA per play was 32nd by a good margin, .154. And then their pass rush win rate was 28%, 31st, and their run stop win rate was 25% at 32nd. So I marked Bryce Young here. Bryce Young had a 8/1000th EPA per play, 23rd, so .008. And then a 41.9 success rate, which was 29th. I decided to include from the benching on, from when he came back from his benching in week 8, he was a .110 EPA per play quarterback, which was 18th, which is pretty good. And he had a 44.6% success rate, which was 26th. Not great, but tied with Aaron Rodgers. So if that means anything to you. Their offseason, pretty basic. J.C. Horn got extended for 100, another corner, as we mentioned. And then Michael Jackson, not that Michael Jackson, played a lot of boundary corner for them. 2 years, $10 million. I thought, throw that in there. Free agency, their big spend was Trayvon Merrick, 3 years, $51 million. Tershawn Wharton from the Chiefs, 3 year, $45 million. Pat Jones, didn't know he was still kicking it from the Vikings, 2 years, $15 million. Bobby Brown from the Rams, 3 years, $21 million. Rico Dowdle, 1 year. And Christian Roseboom, 1 year as well. And then their draft. Tedero McMillan in round 1, which was something me and Ben talked about. We reiterated all the time they should just take the best receiver. And Tedero kept falling, and they took him at 8. Like, everybody said it would be defense. He was too good of a player to pass up at 8, and I agree with them. And then in day 2, Nick Scorton and Princely Uman Mielen, who I had both as top 40 players at edge rusher, and, they cut Jadeveon Clowney in this departures tab. So getting youthful at the edge was a big priority for them. And then every pick they made was 8 picks was from a Power 4 program. Just kind of throwing that in there because I didn't have a third round like a day 3 sleeper that I liked. Like Trevor Etienne was taken in the 4th round. He didn't sniff my top 15 running backs. So don't love that pick. But hey, I thought they had a pretty solid draft all in all. And their departures were pretty simple. Xavier Woods, their safety, who's going to get swapped out for Merrick, and Shaq Thompson, who's been there for a long time. He kind of quietly went out the door, I believe, and signed a little mini deal with the Bills. And then my season outlet question, spending huge and getting Derek Brown back doesn't make the run defense better than historically bad that it was in 2024. So this was my favorite part of researching this division and why it's the Devils division. No team in NFL history has had a .097 rush EPA per play while having a 50% rushing success rate allowed against them. not the 2008 Lions, not the 2017 Browns, not whatever historically bad run defense you can think of until the 2024 Carolina Panthers happened. They were literally the worst run defense in the history of the NFL. They spent top dollar on 3 big-bodied defensive linemen who play the run, can kind of rush the passer. They get Derek Brown back, who they've paid a ton of money. He got hurt in week 2, missed all of the season. That hurt a lot in the run game. And it has to be at least a little bit better than worst of all time, right? Like, speaking of the good vibes. So, yeah, is it enough to stretch wins in to the win column, or not so much? But I think optimism can only go up for them because of what Bryce Young did last season at the end of the year and getting Tetero McMillan. So.
Absolutely. I mean, you hope that you pair him up with that offensive-minded head coach with Bryce Young, and that can continue to develop. I mean, we joked off the air that you could spend every single episode talking about the season outlook, talking about their quarterback.
Yeah.
and I do think a big part of it, I mean, I think you touched on the 2 big things. Can that run defense get better? And Bryce Young. But the one thing, too, that I would like to throw in here, what are they doing with the run? This team's obsessed with running backs. It's absurd. They have Chuba Hubbard. They went out and signed Rico. They drafted Trevor Etienne in the 4th round. And given he's not playing this season, they also have Jonathan Brooks. Like, I just think it's like a bit now. They're like, I
think they're punting on Brooks, personally.
Yeah.
Already?
I think so.
I mean, you spend that high of a second round.
I don't think Etienne is so good of a player that you have to have him in round 4. Because I think it's more of a we got to get someone stylistically similar because he's A, not going to play this season, and B, it's just we can't wait around for this guy. We can't. But I agree with you there. The running back.
What I'm hearing is Jerry Jones was correct. Anyways, the big winner of all of this is Jerry Jones. Actually,
that's what everybody is saying.
Yeah, if you know, you know, right? But I don't know, Ryan. Any season outlook questions for the Panthers? You just want to dig into it?
I just want to dig into it, man.
What's your reason for optimism? Other than vibes. Okay.
Yeah. I think Bryce needed more help. And I don't. I'm just excited, man. I don't know. Like the guy was able to put. Let me be excited about a team, man. I don't know. It's not mine.
You hope Tet has an impact. Leggett looked fine, but you hope Leggett makes that jump even more. And if Tet has the impact, Leggett can make that jump, and Chuba Hubbard can stay the same. Then Bryce Young has to look better than what he did. And if you can do that, then I get why you have the optimism, paired with the good vibes. I'll say that.
My dad has a giant collection of Xavier Leggett rookie cards, and it's like, you know how cool it would be if that guy just completely exploded so that collection could be worth something? Because
that would be bad vibes.
I don't want him to explode.
You don't want him to explode.
No.
I hope he breaks out as a wide receiver in the NFL.
Let's get to it, guys. All right. So we'll just do 3 rows, right? So just go. Yeah. All right, cool.
Five.
So I'm going to go ahead and start. I think that they win the first 4 games right off the bat. Jags, Cardinals, Falcons, and Patriots. Yes, they will beat all 4 of those, and then they'll lose the next 2, starting off 4-2.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have a different.
Follow that one, man.
I definitely do have it different than you. I actually have them losing the first 2 games against the Jags and Cardinals. I do have them picking up the win against the Falcons. Again, goes back to my old rule. Teams I think that are at least within the same ballpark. In division, home team gets the victory. So I do have them beating the Falcons, but then I have them going right back to losing against the Patriots and Dolphins. But I do have them winning the Cowboys. The answer to that actually stems from us doing the Cowboys last week, where I was like, this just feels like one of those games in which the Cowboys are going to lose because the Cowboys will find a way to do that. So that's why.
Yeah.
So I actually have them starting off at 2-4, which is far different than
The opposite.
Ryan's first.
It's all right.
So,
He's not feeling the good vibes, dude. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, this is a peek behind the curtain. I have them, of the first 6 weeks, I have them losing all 3 road games, but I have them winning all 3 home games. So I have them 3-3. Yeah.
I love it. Dude, we're like, yeah.
For our audio listeners,
Just
the home
instant
game,
like 4-0. It's just crazy.
Yes, for our audio listeners, for those who are listening, Matt is having them win week 3 against the Falcons, and then week 5 and 6 against the Dolphins and Cowboys, and then losing week 1, 2, and 4 against Jaguars, Cardinals, and Panthers. For the ones who
Patriots,
are audio listeners, but I don't really think we do that anymore. But still, regardless.
Yeah. I don't know. People have YouTube Premium now. They can listen and, just audio.
Yes.
Second row. I will have them lose to the Jets, lose to the Bills, overtime thriller win against the Packers in Lambeau. They're going to beat the Saints as well. They're going to lose to the Falcons in Atlanta, and then they're going to lose to the 49ers. So we're at 6 wins.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're at 6 wins. I mean, we're not too far after this next set of games. I have them winning in New York against the Jets. Actually, I have them go back and forth. So I have them winning against the Jets in New York, losing against the Bills, winning. I guess I don't have them go back and forth. I have them losing against the Packers at Lambeau, picking up a victory against the Saints, losing to the Falcons, and then picking up a victory against the Niners. So now we're not too far off. I have them with 5 wins, through the first 12 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I have them losing to the Jets, losing to the Bills, losing to the Packers, beating the Saints, losing to the Falcons, losing to the Niners. Lob it in there. They lose to the Rams. They're 4-9 in the division, or at the bye. The bye.
Yeah, they're losing to the Rams as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have them at 6 and 7 personally. So let's see. Yeah. After the bye, they'll beat the Saints. I think that they're going to find a way to split between these Buccaneers games. I'm not entirely sure which one. So doesn't matter. Just chalk them up for one. And then after that, they'll lose to the Seahawks. So 8 wins. That's what I got.
Okay, you're not too high, or different than I am on the Panthers.
They're going to be in the hunt. That's the thing. Is like they're
going to be on the graphic.
They're going to be in the graphic, dude. That's
They're gonna be in the graphic.
They're going to be competing for that final
being in
spot.
the
So these
graphic.
last 2 weeks, the week 17 matchup against the Seahawks, that's crucial because I also have the Seahawks competing for a playoff spot. Same exact thing for the Buccaneers. I mean, the Buccaneers are going to be in there as well. Obviously, they're my division winners, I would assume. But, who knows? I'm keeping it a mystery for everybody. So,
I also had them losing to the Rams again, going, into that bye. And then I have them beating the Saints, losing to the Buccaneers, beating the Seahawks, and then losing to the Buccaneers again. I have them at 7 and 10, which is an improvement, but 7 and 10 firmly not in the hunt at this point. So,
Yeah, like I said, 4-9 of the bye. I have them losing to the Saints. Like Ryan, splitting with the Bucs here. They're going to win the home game. They're going to beat Seattle. They're going to finish 6-11. Their over/under is 6.5. Juice to the over, minus 145, plus 125 to the under, and then their division odds plus 350. So if you're feeling the division, feeling the long shot, kind of long shot division, but like plus 350 for this team, I hate. I would want this to be like 5-1 at least.
Yeah.
So yeah,
at least I was thinking 7 to 8 to 1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
but that was checked today. So,
wow.
Ugh.
July 16th. So,
Dude,
Right.
vibes are high. Vibes are high in Carolina.
is it that, or is it the division? Like,
It's the division. It's because the division. I mean, again, the title. The Devils. Someone has to win it. You never know who it is. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints win the division at this point. Like, nothing can surprise
no, you shouldn't.
me.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. So that'll do it for the Panthers. Just to recap, I have them at 8-9, Ben at 7-10, Matt 6-11. So pretty close altogether. I mean, at the start of the schedule predictions, I guarantee you didn't think we were going to be within 2 games of each other for sure. You know what I mean? So pretty good.
Yeah, I think an interesting subplot for their season is like, again, like it went so historically bad through 2 weeks. Like, I'm not convinced that Bryce Young is their starting quarterback in 2026. If that makes sense. I'm not like overly confident, and I'm not like, I wouldn't rule out drafting a guy. Like, if maybe not at 6-11 like mine, but like I feel like I'm like, this is as I don't want to say as optimistic. I think there's some wins, but this team could theoretically win 3 games again.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And so if that were to happen, it'd be interesting for them to pivot off of that, finally having their pick back, finally being done with the Bears trade, and being able to take a guy like Drew Aller, who is the exact opposite of Bryce Young. So it's interesting. So just wanted to mark that down kind of in little, like just lob it in there. Like, yeah, just keep that in mind.
I just want to note it'd be interesting if they did go a different quarterback route, because at this point you're entering season 2 with a head coach. So let's say hypothetically the Panthers do fail to win more than 4 games, and they win that 3-game total, right, that Matt's talking about. They go in, they draft that Drew Aller guy, you know what I'm saying, the guy from Penn State, that guy, and at that point, if the season doesn't go well after you draft Drew Aller, you're in a similar situation.
In the Bears situation.
Exactly. So it's like, now, this is a sticky situation that you don't want to get yourself caught in. I'm buying into the head coach at least a little bit. I think that he was able to compete with some pretty good teams last season. And I think that they have the opportunity to make some noise. So that's why I'm a little bit higher on them than these guys, these freaking goofballs. But, I don't know. I'm excited. This is a team that I'm going to look forward to watching. I mean, like, I'm going to pull up their schedule really quick one last time. Like, for example, we've got prime time against the 49ers, right? Like, you guys are like, oh, God. But to me, I'm seated. I'm here for that. What is that, Monday Night Football, I think? Like, yeah, dude, I'm here for that. And then, other than that,
that's the
9
day
at
after
noon.
my fiance's birthday, so I don't have to watch that game.
But, like, I'm just saying, I mean, noon against the Packers. I'll be watching that one. Like, for whatever reason, it's been competitive recently against that team, and I think that they're going to pull it out. Like, the game against the Patriots week 4, September 28th, circle it on the calendar, man. I will be watching that game. This is where Sunday Ticket comes in handy for me, because this is the team. This is the one that I'm like, keep an eye on you. I'm interested to see at least a little bit of growth out of him, and it looks like that's what we're anticipating out of him. So I'm excited for that one. So Panthers fans, I'm praying for you. I'm hoping you don't fall into that rut. I hope that Bryce Young is that guy, because it can be fun. When he's good, fun football. When he's not good, my God, there are some lows. So, so let's go ahead and move on. Guys, what team are should we do the Bucks now that we covered a little bit of the New Jerseys and everything?
I mean, I feel like there's the clear team that we have to save for last. But yeah, I mean, might as well do the Bucks here.
All right, Matt, what are we thinking, man? What's your analysis, man?
So they won the division last year, 10-7, fifth in EPA per play last year on offense with the new offensive coordinator, Liam Cohn. They were .133 Pass block win rate was 68% fifth. Run block win rate was 73% sixth. So really good offensive line. Just overall gaudy offensive numbers. Their defensive EPA per play a little mid. .017, which was 17th. Pass rush win rate was 42% at 11th, and then run stop win rate was 27% at 31st. So not a good run stopping unit, even with Vita V. Baker Mayfield, I'm your hater, dude. You were tremendous last year. .209 EPA per play, fifth in the league. 52% success rate, tied for
Team
fourth.
Baker.
They had a tremendous season, and the only thing is that you couldn't stop Jaden Daniels. That was and the Lions, who won 15 games, had the same problem. So it's just the way it goes. They have a new offensive coordinator, as I mentioned, with Liam Cohen going to the Jags in a very ugly divorce. And it seems Liam Cohen does that. He did it to Kentucky. Being a college football fan, I know he did it to Kentucky. Josh Grizzard, don't know much about him at all. He has only been around for like 7 years. He used to play at Yale. He was a wide receivers coach with the Dolphins in 2020, then got demoted back to offensive quality control coach, and then was pass game coordinator last year, and now is offensive coordinator for the Bucs. Like, that's Josh Grizzard in a nutshell. He's 35 years old. No idea if that's going to work out. We'll talk about that more. They kept Chris Godwin, who's coming off that injury. Did he tear his Achilles? Torn ACL? I can't remember what it was, but he's likely to start on the PUP list if I had to imagine. They bring back Levante David. Hopefully he retires in the Buccaneers uniform. And then Ben Bredesen, one of their surprise landings on the offensive line, they re-signed at offensive guard. Their free agency was so tame as it gets. Only one new starter, Hassan Reddick, 1 year's $14 million. And then I threw in Charlie Heck here, swing tackle. He's going to have to play football for them because of the new news with Tristan Wirfs likely to be put on PUP lists, likely to miss the first 4 games. So keep an eye out on Charlie Heck. He might have to play left tackle for them for the first 4 games. And then their draft, Emeka Egbuka, one of the bigger surprises of the first round for me, just because I think he matches a lot of what Chris Godwin does, and I think what he would be impactful at year 1 is what Chris Godwin mirrors. So interesting there. And then I thought they got 2 good defensive backs. Ben Morrison in the second round, injury issues. He was my 30th overall player. And then Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State, feisty nickel, 61st player. And then I threw in David Walker out of Central Arkansas in round 4. Their departures, again, very tame offseason. Robert Hainsey, their former starting center, follows Liam Cohen to the Jaguars. He played 8% of the snaps last year. And then Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, former first-round pick out of UW, just missed. It's a miss. And so they let him walk this year, and like I said, they replenished it with Hassan Reddick. Season outlook question pretty easily. Does the third OC in 3 years give them a downtick in production or continue to be playoff team productive? Josh Grizzard, the new offensive coordinator, 0 play calling experience. Canales put together a top 10 offense. He leaves to become a head coach. Liam Cohen puts together a top 5 offense, leaves to be a head coach. Grizzard doesn't seem to have the pedigree to follow in those steps after 1 year, but with the offense, is it too good and constructed too well to fail, no matter who the caller is? And I think that's what they're trying to achieve. They're just trying to keep that thing go down the pike. And then no new additional starters in 2025, unless how you speak about Egbuka. But they have Jalen McMillan, who I like. They have Trey Palmer, who's there as like a slot gadget guy. Sterling Shepard. And then like nothing is changing except the guy holding the play sheet. So it's interesting because it's weird to see it go from Canales to Cone and get more productive. It can't theoretically get more productive in 2025. So if that downtick happens, does it bring you to a place where you're still sustainable at Dave Canales' level at 10th, more so than kind of 18th, something like that? And so yeah, that's, which also good for them. They sit in a pretty nice division where you're going to get 6 games against, 3 defenses that you should feast on, and you should be one of the best offenses in those games. So.
Absolutely. I mean, I talked about it. Again, you could talk about it for every single team. And of all divisions to cover in one episode, this is probably the division you can get away with talking about the quarterback for every single team when it comes to season outlook questions. But, I mean, so much of that offensive coordinator change is going to really show how much of it is Baker Mayfield, because I, too, am not much of a Baker Mayfield believer as much as, Ryan is. And if they continue to have that good season, you can probably get to a point and say, well, this is probably Baker that's doing the majority of it, versus if they kind of tick back down to where it was at, and you can say, well, maybe Liam and Cohen were the ones that were kind of the architect of this offense, and he was kind of just the beneficiary of it all. So it'll be really interesting to see what people's kind of thoughts on Baker is at the end of the season. So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, obviously my guy Emeka Egbuka making it, falling to them. It's a fun one to kind of look at. So let's go ahead and dive in here. Now, we have the 3 rows. However, it's a little bit weird because
it was a weird picture to find. This was the best one I could find. So, like, the preseason are the first 3 games. Don't look at those. Look at the Falcons one, the kind of cream white. Look at those. So,
yeah. So, should we? We'll just do the top row just to start, just to keep it simple. So, obviously, first 3 preseason, like Matt said. So I'm gonna have them. I'm going to have them beat the Falcons. No, I'm going to have them lose to the Falcons week 1. I'll have them beat the Texans, beat the Jets, and then lose to the Eagles to start 2-2 for the first 4 weeks. Ben?
Yes. I mean, it is at it is at the Falcons, so I will have the Falcons winning that one. They'll lose. And then, like Ryan, I actually think the Texans are going to be good. I'm not a Texans hater. So I will also have the Texans win this one. But I do think they win the next 2 games in the Jets and the Eagles. I think they're just a flat-out better team than the Jets. And then if you guys listened to the episodes last week, I don't know what Todd Bowles is doing, but man, does he have Jalen Hurts' number. He seems to always win these games. So I do have them starting out 2-2, though.
Yeah, I have them losing the Falcons, and then I have them rattling off 3 straight wins against Houston on Monday Night Football, against the Jets, and then against Philadelphia. So
Philly's got to lose at least a couple times this season, right?
I mean, you were the high guy. I don't know if you had the chance to catch it. You were the high man on.
Yeah,
Philly
I had them 12-5.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Yeah,
I'll find it now.
Hey, that's all right. So for the middle row, I have them beating the Seahawks. I'm going to go with them losing to the 40. No, I'll have them beating the 49ers. Did I say losing the Seahawks? I said losing, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's losing.
Sorry, I just sneezed. Like, I'm telling you, dude, I got lightheaded. It was. I did not. I don't know what's going on.
You're going crazy.
I'm going nuts. Okay, so losing the Seahawks, beating the Niners, beating the Lions, beating the Saints. So 5. What's that? 5-3 now going into the bye.
Okay. Yeah, I have them beating the Seahawks, losing to both the Niners and Lions. And then, sorry, Matt, I do have them beating the Saints. So I have them with 4 wins and 4 losses, and even 500 going into the bye.
Yeah, I have them losing their next 3 after winning those 3 on the top row. Losing at Seattle, I think that's an awful trip to make. I think they lose to San Francisco, and then they lose to Detroit on Monday Night Football. And then I echo your guys' belief. I do believe they beat the Saints. Head into the bye 4-4. We get to talk all about that, because it's a national primetime game. They'll be 3-4. Everybody's going to be spiraling what's going on in Tampa Bay, and then they're going to respond by beating the hell out of my Saints. So they'll be 4-4.
I will have them. Let's see. Wait a minute. Yeah. So I only went to the bye, right? So I have the Patriots. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'm just gonna round off this middle row, and then I'll do the bottom one.
Do the next
Everything's
four.
Do the next four
all the
up
way
the
to the
Cardinals.
Saints.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I have them beating the Patriots, losing to the Bills, losing to the Rams, beating the Cardinals, beating the Saints. That was 5.
God,
But
that's,
You're
yeah. You're good.
my
This
bad,
is the way we
gentlemen.
got to do it. 4, and then you got to sprinkle 5 in there somewhere.
5,
So,
and then yeah, it's good. We like it.
damn,
I have them
games.
beating the Patriots, losing to both the Bills and Rams, but then winning the next 2 following against both the Cardinals and Saints, sweeping the Saints. Again, I apologize, Matt.
Okay, throw that in there. I have them beating the Patriots. I have them losing to the Bills. I have them beating the Rams. I have them beating the Cardinals, and I have them losing to the Saints.
Oh,
And
wait.
then I'm gonna have
Sweeping the Saints, Matt? Sweeping? Sorry. Anyways.
No, I have them losing to the Saints.
Oh, losing to the Saints.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Nothing.
And then I have them actually winning out, with the exception of one of the Panthers games. So that has them at 11 wins for me.
I've
Yeah.
agree- yeah.
Okay. I have them winning out with the exception of the Dolphins game. So I actually have them picking up both games against the Panthers as well. I just think they are just outright a
Stack up
better
well.
team, both on the offense and defense than the Panthers. So yeah, I have them winning 3 of those final 4 games. I have them just right behind Ryan at 10-7 for me. So same exact record that they were last year.
Yeah. They'll win on Thursday night against Falcons. They'll win at Carolina. They'll win at Miami. They'll lose to Carolina in the week 18 game because they have to get to 10-7. All right. I had to put them at 10-7
Yes.
because that's what they continue to be, but it continues to be enough to win the division. Their over-under is set at 9.5 plus 110 right now. You can get plus money on this team winning 10 games. I kind of like that. Looking
like
at
it
the
a lot.
schedule and especially this division, minus 130 to the under, and then their division odds are the exact same, plus 110. So Vegas is viewing it as
Clear.
this is the number to get to. If you get to 10, you're gonna win it. I like those odds. I probably, with the doing research for this division, I'd probably put a minus by the season start to win this division again. Even with all of the offensive, coordinator differences and even the Godwin injury, I think they have the best quarterback by far, and I think they have the most, maybe not like best defense, but just overall most complete defense, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Buccaneers, and I think you guys also having them win double-digit games see the same as I.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think division winners, not to spoil anything, we're gonna get to the other team that people argue that would be the next
Do we have
up.
a take on this team? Is there a take to have on this team?
Mike Evans. Yeah, you know what? Mike Evans isn't getting 1,000 yards this season. That's my
Look
thing.
at that.
Screw your
Yes.
stupid 1,000 yards per
Yes,
second.
dude.
I hate it.
He's
He's
good.
How
not
much
getting
is
it this year. That's
how
my
much
take.
is like Buka ending up with?
Like 500, 600.
Is there an over under for Egbuka?
I can find it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Stall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Egbuka, good. Chris Godwin, good. Hurt.
And again, it'll be interesting too with the start of the season, with both Godwin and Worse most likely being on the PUP list, seeing the start of that season. I mean, you saw Matt kind of talk about it when he kind of went through his games. The start of the season with those injuries is really going to play a big factor. Can they stay afloat in the passing game because of the loss of the weapon and the loss of Tristan Wirfs, and try to stay afloat until they get those guys back? Because if not, it can kind of spiral them downhill, again, considering this division and how chaotic it can become.
Yeah.
So.
They do not have Egbuka listed. So that they kind of view my lens of like, is he a starter? week 1.
Mm.
Maybe not. But my take would be I'm all in on Bucky Irving, which also he had 1,500 scrimmage yards last year. He finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting, which
Dude,
is just
he wasn't even the starting, the bell cow back for the first half of the season. He still finished with 1,500. That's crazy.
And it's you look at Daniels, of course, Bowers, Bo, Thomas, and Neighbors were the guys ahead of him. I don't think there's a guy wrong ahead of him, but it's just the way that it shakes out.
Guys, we went to a phenomenal draft, by the way. That this is gonna go down as one of the most historical draft classes of all time, and we were there. I
think it could.
That's pretty cool.
But for Bucky specifically, I think he finishes as a top 5 fantasy running back. That's my take.
Yes.
That's my take with him. I don't know how to get so hot that I'm too far into the Stephen A territory where I'm saying things that I don't believe. But I think Bucky Irving could have another year where it's behind this offensive line, they lean into him even more because and kind of phase out some of the Rachaad White stuff. Even if I was a believer then, not anymore. I think he could really catapult into some high ground in the fantasy game specifically.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, moving on. I've got a take for this one for after, so remind me. Falcons schedule.
We always take.
Is the take that Michael Penix will never take off his do-rag and we can never see his waves? Is that your take?
But that reminds me, I do have a second take for this team as well. So to make up for lack of takes, I have 2 of them for this one.
For context,
want
too, just so people don't think I'm just saying crazy stuff. Michael Penix, I guess none of his teammates have ever seen him without his do-rag on in person. Anyways.
Matt.
He is insane, isn't he?
Crazy
8-9 last season, 2nd in the division, missed the playoffs. They were 13th in offensive EPA per play. That's with Kirk Cousins playing 14 games and Penix playing 3. .041. Their pass block win rate was 59% at 18th, and the run block win rate was somehow 71% with 20th, which is pretty bad. Usually they are a pretty good run blocking team. Defensive EPA per play was .042, 20th. Pass rush win rate was 34%, 27th, and run stop win rate was 29%, 26th. Penix, I threw in his little stats here. Minimum 120 snaps, folks. So this is what we're dealing with. .167 EPA per play, which was 10th. Very good. 48.3% success rate, which was 18th. Kirk Cousins, which the minimum 120 snaps, I think almost 50 quarterbacks hit that threshold. So, he's in the top, 2/5 of both of those and top 5th of the EPA per play. Cousins, this is of your normal starters, 300 snaps, .065 EPA per play, which was 18th, and a 49.2% success rate, which was 14th. So that's better. Their new defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich from the Jets, and he had the headlines in the offseason, and it wasn't about him. So that he's a good defensive coordinator. I'll give him that. They kept Jake Matthews. They gave him an extension, 2 years, $45 million. He is now under contract for 4 more years. He's in his mid-30s. So that, again, it's much like, the McLaurin kind of conversation. You're just paying a guy who you hit on the draft pick and you want him to retire with Falcons red on. So I get it. Brought back Mike Hughes, 2 years, $12 million. And Ryan Nazul will be their center. He played over 50% of the snaps last year because Dahlman got hurt early enough that he kind of was in and out of the lineup. He will be their starting center this year, 2 years, $9 million. Their additions, much like the Buccaneers, kind of, thin. Leonard Floyd, 1 year, $10 million. Divine Diablo, 2 years, $14 million. Morgan Fox, 2 years, $5.5 million. Their draft, Jalen Walker. Again, they just make headlines with the draft. Jalen Walker, an edge off-ball linebacker. They take in round 1. And then they trade back into round 1.
I hated this.
All right, they trade back into round 1. All right, take James Pierce Jr. Wait, you gave up your first round pick next year? You have a pseudo rookie quarterback playing football for you this year. We'll get into it, but that was something that they are dying for edge rushing need, and clearly they were willing to get it. And smart organizations like the Rams, who whole mantra was F them picks for 5 years, said, yeah, give us that pick. Come on. Bring that down here. And then Xavier Watson in the late round 3, I wanted to highlight. That's a pretty good pick. And then their departures, Grady Jarrett, longtime Falcon, he's out the door. Drew Dahlman also going to the Bears. Justin Simmons still not signed. He played over 90% of the snaps last year. And then Matt Judon, swing and a miss. Traded a 3rd-round pick for him, and he was awful. And then their season outlook question, much like Ben has mentioned, I had to mention the quarterback, so I did 2. I cheated a little bit, but Michael Penix, what does a successful season look like? Is it cumulative on how many wins they get or how gaudy his stats are? They're built around running the football, Bijan Robinson, powerful offensive line, even sprinkling Algier in there. Like Algier before Bijan got there was a 1,000-yard rusher, so he's pretty talented in his own right. And they kind of use his arm strategically to create explosives because London and Mooney are good. And then, was Michael Penix overdrafted? Yes. Was it only behind the Browns in terms of bad asset management at quarterback? Because they paid Kirk Cousins $90 million guaranteed, $45 million annually, and they took a guy with the 8th overall pick who I had in the late 2nd rounder. So it's bad asset management. Does any of it matter if he's good? No, it doesn't. They are actively paying a guy $40 million to sit the bench and not disrupt their new process, Michael Penix Jr. But they also traded their 1st-round pick next year, so they expect him to win games. Just a very funny, double entendre going on. They're pulling in 2 separate directions here for me. And then, secondly, last 3 drafts, they've drafted 6 IDL/edge rushers. Can one of them be good, please? Braylon Trice tore his ACL last year. Rukuroro barely saw the field last year. Brandon Dorless, he was pretty solid in spot starts. Zach Harrison has already been there. He's projected as the starter. And then the guys they drafted, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., they let the one guy who was kind of good for them, Grady Jarrett, walk out the door. And for the contract that the Bears gave him, I get why they let him walk out the door. Judon, like I mentioned, bust of a trade. They're now left with just a youthful room, desiring production. Can someone break out? They need it really bad. Does it happen? I don't know, but it defines their season in 2025 if they have it or they don't.
Exactly. I mean, everyone knew that was the need. Could they get any semblance of pass rush going? Everyone knew going into the draft that was going to be their plan. No one knew that they were going to trade their future 1st-round pick to trade up for James Pierce, but everyone knew that's what they needed. And again, that should absolutely be the season outlook question aside from the quarterback. Can any of these young guys put together a half-decent year for them to start thinking hey, maybe this paid off after all of this investment that we had, because we've invested a lot and it hasn't worked out thus far. So can James Pierce put it together? Can Jalen Walker put it together? 2 guys I wasn't necessarily high on, but again, it doesn't matter if they're good. So, but we can
Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So let's go top row, middle row, bottom row.
Great bye week.
Let's not stop. Oh my God, horrible. All right. I have them losing. I'm sorry. I had the Falcons beating the Buccaneers week 1. But I'm going to have them lose to the Vikings. I'm going to have them, let's see. Trying to remember. I had them losing to the Panthers as well, losing to the Commanders, and I will have them losing to the Bills. They will start 1-5 after the bye.
Okay. I have them beating the Bucs. Losing to both the Vikings and Panthers. I'll have them beating the Commanders. I'm a little bit lower on them compared to consensus. If you guys watched that video. So I have them going and even 2-2 going into the bye week. And then I have them losing against the Bills coming out of the bye, starting off the first 6 weeks of the season, going 2-3, which isn't awful, but isn't, fantastic.
Yeah, I have them starting 2-0 against Tampa and then Minnesota, and then losing the next 2 against Carolina, against Washington, 2-2 at the bye, and then obviously losing to the Bills. Sorry, Falcons fans, not really that sorry.
I will have them beat the Niners, beat the Dolphins, beat the Patriots, lose to the Colts, beat the Panthers, beat the Saints. I'll have them lose to the Saints, actually. I'll have them lose this game to the Saints because they're away. So, at this point, 6 wins right now after, week 12. 6 and 6.
6 and 5? 6 and 5, yeah.
Or 6 and 5, sorry, because of the bye week. Yes, 6 and 5.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm also realizing I messed up the Panthers prediction. I did have the Panthers losing to the Saints. But that's regardless. We'll talk about it in a little bit. In these 6 games, I have them winning every single one of them, other than the Patriots game. So that's, a victory against the Niners, Dolphins, Colts, Panthers, and Saints. And then they're in, week 9, they just have a straight loss to the Patriots. And, Falcons fans are coming through the first 12 weeks of the season absolutely ecstatic, saying, hey, we've only lost 4 games. Is Michael Penix that dude? And they're going to be jumping for joy.
I have them coming out of the Buffalo loss, beating both San Francisco and Miami, and then losing the next 2 against New England, against Indianapolis, and then splitting the next 2, beating Carolina, losing in New Orleans.
I'm going to have them lose the next 3 games against the Jets, Seahawks, and Buccaneers. Actually, next 4. They're going to lose to the Cardinals as well. And the Rams. Geez, not good. And then they're going to beat the Saints to finish with 7 wins and 10 losses.
Okay. It's not too far off of me. I have them beating the Jets, losing the next 4 against the Seahawks, Buccaneers, Cardinals, and Rams, and then winning against the Saints, putting their season at 8-9, which is right in the middle. Honestly, 8-9 is probably right where this team should be, but they're out here making stupid win now decisions. But again, a decent year. Probably end the season pretty happy about where Michael Penix ended up if you have them going 8-9.
Yeah, I have them beating the Jets, beating the Seahawks, losing to the Bucks, losing to the Cardinals, losing to the Rams, beating the Saints, finishing 8-9, as you mentioned, around their win total, 7.5, minus 135, juice to the over, and then their division odds plus 220. So and again, this team is all on the wild card of the arm of Michael Penix. That is very, very talented. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes and how they end up. But Ryan has takes.
I do.
Ryan, what are your takes?
I do. So this was like a month ago, so it might have changed. I cannot currently look at the lines, so Matt can update me if I am wrong. However, this was as of a month ago, according to Fox Sports. Bijan Robinson's over/under total was set at 1,150.5. Okay.
For total yards or rushing yards?
Rushing.
Total rushing, yeah. So rushing, yeah. Just rushing.
Okay.
You said
Not
what
total.
it was? What was it?
1,150.5.
Well, it's at 1,200 now. So
1,200, even better. I have it at I'm taking the under every single day
All
of the
right.
week. I'm taking the under for Bijan, and then not only that, but if you guys remember, for my schedule predictions, I'll bring this back up. I had them going on a little bit of a run in this second, row, beating the. I think I had them beating the Niners, beating the Dolphins, beating the Patriots, losing to the Colts, and then I think beating the Panthers, losing to the Saints. A little bit of a run there. Reason why? Kirk Cousins is playing quarterback. They will be benching Michael Penix
They're gonna
after
bench
the
him.
bye week.
It's not
They're
going to be an
going to
injury.
bench him. Yeah, they're going to bench him
Okay.
after the bye week. And at that point, I mean, they're bringing in a veteran to try and compete against these teams like the Bills and the Niners coming right out of the bye. They'll split those two games, and they'll be like, well, Kirk didn't do too bad. Let's see what he can do against these ones. Miami, New Orleans, New England, Indy, Carolina, New Orleans. They need to be in the win column if they're going to compete in the division, and that's exactly what they're going to do. And so, it's going to be interesting.
Malpractice if they did that at that point. It is so hard for a young quarterback to come back from stuff like that, given it has happened before. Look at Bryce Young, a quarterback within this division. But it would be malpractice for them to do that at this point. But let's be honest, if it was any division, it would be this one, because we've seen it happen before. So I haven't ruled anything out with any team within this division.
So if you're Raheem Morris in the situation that I've painted for the Falcons,
that would be my question. Is this a job-saving move?
It is. It's whether or not did you bring me here to win, or did you bring me here to develop your quarterback that you wanted? Because at the end of the day, you hired me. We signed Kirk Cousins, and then you put me in the position to either develop the quarterback or play the quarterback that we're paying millions and millions and millions of dollars to bench. Which one do you want me to do? And at the end of the day, I'm a head coach in the NFL, and I'm here to win. And so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put the team in its best position to win. That's where it's going to be. And Raheem Morris is going to do that. And I believe, at that point in the season where, you beat the Buccaneers, but you lost to the Vikings, you lost to the Panthers, and then you lost to the Commanders. Going into that bye, you're scratching your head like, listen, we have a pretty decent stretch. Like, we've got 13 straight weeks of football before the playoffs even start. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it's like, sure, I've got two quarterbacks that can, play the position, but which one is going to get me to play more football? When it's all said and done. And at the end of the day, I think that it's going to come down to Kirk Cousins returning to the field. That's my bold take for the season.
Yeah.
I don't know. Boys, you got anything?
I do not.
Does it get more bold than that?
They always
that they bench Penix? No, I really don't.
They bench Penix and Bijan finishes under 1,200. Yeah.
My bold take: Kyle Pitts breakout. No, just
shut up. Shut up.
Draft him then. Please draft him.
What is a Kyle Pitts breakout at this point in time? What is
like a Jonnu Smith season?
Jonnu Smith is a Pro Bowler. Stop it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's exactly. It's like I feel like his expectations are just like exponentially high, and it's because he's the 4th overall pick. Like they should be high, but
mind you,
I don't know. He's a weird player that like you never imagine him hitting open market, but like he's not his 5th year option. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. We had to throw in Kyle Pitts.
We had to. Let's get into the last team of the division here. Matt, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, the Saints were 5-12 last year. They were 3rd in the division. They missed the playoffs. Their offensive EPA per play was negative .057, 25th in the league. Pass block win rate was 54%, 29th. Run block win rate was 71%, 19th. Defensive EPA per play was better than I thought. 19th, .035, and their pass rush win rate and run stop win rate both 30th, respectively. Spencer Rattler, again, the same tab as Michael Penix, minimum of 120 snaps. Negative .219 EPA per play. 44th of 46 quarterbacks eligible. Only Deshaun Watson and Dorian Thompson-Robinson were worse than him. 38.9% success rate, 43rd of 46 quarterbacks. The two previously mentioned, and Will Levis. That is the company Spencer Rattler was in. And I don't blame all on him, but that's where he is. That's what he was after those X amount of games. When did he? I think he came in like week 10-ish. He had the he obviously had the Denver Broncos game where it just instantly did not have it. But their coaching hires. They finally made a new coaching hire. That was pretty fun. They hired Kellen Moore from the champion Eagles, bring in Doug Nussmeier as the OC, and then defensive coordinator Brandon Staley, who Kellen Moore worked under as an OC almost said San Diego, Los Angeles with the Chargers. They kept Chase Young. They kept Juwan Johnson. A lot of restructures. Those were kind of the only keeps that were major, but the Chase Young at a 3 years, $51 million was a good tag. Free agency obviously spent for Justin Reed, 3 years, $31.5 million. Isaac Yiadom, 3 years, $9 million. He comes back. Brandon Cooks, 2 years, $13 million. Dylan Redunce, 1 year, $2.25 million. I think he's going to compete at the guard spot for with Trevor Penning. And then Devon Godshaw, they traded a seventh for him, kind of reworked his deal into a 2 years, $11 million. Their draft. That was one of the best drafts the Saints have had in years. Even if I'm lower on Kelvin Banks, there was a clear identity with their draft. They drafted him with the 9th overall pick at left tackle. He's going to kick out to left tackle. Fuanga is going to kick back out to right tackle. They take Tyler Shuck with the 40th overall pick. Much to the dismay of most Saints fans. Vernon Broughton in the 3rd round, hook 'em horns, 2 Texas players in the first 3 rounds. Loved it. Jonas Sanker, safety out of Virginia in round 3, and then Quincy Riley, who was a top 100 player for me in round 4, and is the most draft picks in a single draft for the Saints since 2015, 9. They've had 4 draft classes in that same decade span where they've had 6 or less drafted players. So hopefully this isn't the outlier. Hopefully this is the trend now. Hopefully this is the start to getting cheap contracts and continuing to volume draft. I think the Marshawn Lattimore trade helped getting more picks, but you need to keep doing this, personally. And then their departures, obviously, number 1, the retirement of Derek Carr. Paulson Adebo broke his leg in that Broncos game previously mentioned. He goes to the Giants for a big number, didn't play as many snaps. Will Harris played a ton of snaps last year. He goes to the Commanders. Lucas Patrick was kind of a fun guard for us last year. He goes to the Bengals, and then obviously the resurgence of MVS that last few weeks of the season. He goes to Seattle. And then my season outlook question, it's the longest one I've had all season because I've been most excited. Like, does the offense maybe have some explosive juice? Because remember, the Saints scored 90 points in the first 2 weeks, and only 2 other teams had done that in NFL history, and they both won the Super Bowl. Remember that? That was fun. And then health kind of catapulted the 2024 Saints. Tyler Shuck, I would expect to be the starter, just based on the fact that from the way Kellen Moore talks about him, that he is the highest drafted quarterback by the Saints since one Archie Manning in the 1971 draft. And, yeah, you remember that one? Classic, by the way. The
I remember
line,
that one.
The O-line welcomes another top prospect to this line. Kelvin Banks Jr. won the Outland. Great left tackle. It's a clear power profile with Fuanga. Even if I think it's a reach from my own board, because I had him in the low 20s. If he's a good player, he clearly fits the power profile of Fuanga. Who the hell cares? I have talked myself into the pick, obviously, because he's a hook 'em horns, and like it's a left tackle. Keep drafting the trenches. If that's my complaint, I shouldn't be watching the sport. Eric McCoy's finally healthy at center. Cesar Ruiz is a decent player. Whether like the returns are now, he is a decent player. And then the one wrinkle is left guard, slated to be Trevor Penning. Dylan Raduns is going to compete with him in training camp when it starts next week, I believe. So that is the one part. But the most excitement for this team is the receivers. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed showed a level of explosive ability in 2 games last year that echoed that they could be real like engines of offenses for like catching passes in the playoffs. Like a lot of people, not just me as a Saints fan, were thinking Saints playoffs last year after those first 2 weeks. And it was because of those 2 players and what they could create in their dynamic ability downfield. Bub Means is the only like big-bodied receiver in this room. So I assume like the Gabe Davis might be a Saint. I know there's buzz around that. Brandon Cooks came around, he's been around the block. comes to, back to New Orleans, hopefully retires as a Saint. Cedric Wilson is a fun, dirty work guy. And then the running backs, Kamara, Kendre, Devin Neal, slate to be pretty explosive in the open field compared to what the last few years felt like with Jamal Williams handling the ball. He's a fun guy. He likes anime. He sucks at football. I'm really happy that these are the running backs now. And then, my last few, are the Saints going to be good? I lean no. And I think a lot of people lean no. Do I think they're going to be dumpster fire bad? No. I really don't. And it doesn't hinder my excitement for what this youthful energy is bringing. This is probably the most excited I've been for a Saints team, Saints offense, since the Jameis year, frankly. And that's what it does when you draft a guy with the 40th overall pick. Whether, Ryan could speak, the Justin Fields years were fun. Winning 3 games was fun because he was the quarterback. The Jalen Hurts years were fun for you because, it's just different. It's just different. So it's I could it be fun in a rebuilding year? Absolutely. And that's why I'm really jazzed up for this team. So yeah, let's get it.
I got a couple things here. First off, did you just use explosive in the same sentence with Devin Neal? I like Devin Neal. I was higher on Devin Neal than you were.
In the open field.
But no,
catching passes.
My favorite stat too, speaking on the draft, and I'll try to make this quick, is this is the first time since the release of the iPhone. Mind you, in September, the iPhone 17 is coming out. This is the first time since the release of the iPhone that the Saints kept every pick that they had and made the selection, which is absolutely just ridiculous. And then final to kind of my season outlook question. Aside from being, because it seems like I'm going to be much lower on the Saints. Aside from being Urban Meyer, is there really anything that Kellen Moore can do to make him lose his job in year one? I really think right now the Saints are that bad that Kellen Moore could go 0-17 and still probably keep his job as long as he's not kicking people and staying in college bars as the team is flying back. So I don't know. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Let's take a look at the schedule here. We'll go row by row. Can I just make this easy?
I was gonna make it easy. Make it easy. I was gonna make it easy too.
They're gonna lose every single game, with the exception of the Giants and one of the Falcons games, and they'll beat the Titans too. Sorry, yeah, they'll beat the Titans. So I have them at 3-14. Other than that, that's it. I'm sorry. Hey, by the way, if you've ever looked into it, Matt, I don't know if you've ever seen this stat. Let me pull this up. Ben, you go ahead and do your thing. Make it easy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it easy. I'm not too far off from you. And again, I apologize, Matt, but I have them losing every single game as well outside of the Patriots game in, what is that, week 6? And then the Dolphins game in what week is that?
13.
The Dolphins game in week 13 and then the Panthers game in week 15. So I have them going 3-14. I am very low. I have them losing to the Titans. I like the Titans right now better than I do the Saints. I like the support. I like that offensive line better on the Titans. If we're talking about rookie quarterback, I definitely like Cam Ward better. And to be frank, with the Chris Olave stuff up in the air, I kind of like the pass catchers better on the Titans as well. Again, given the Chris Olave stuff, if he was healthy, I wouldn't be saying that. But we don't know what's going on with them. So I have them going 3-14 in contention for Arch Manning. And I feel like that was kind of always the plan when you drafted Tyler, was can he keep you afloat enough but also get you in position to try to get Arch this year or next.
So this stat that I was going to bring up really quick, Matt, do you know the last time the Bears beat the Saints? Just out of curiosity.
The last time?
The last time the Bears beat the Saints.
Let's
test the ball knowledge here.
No, it can't be as far as the 06 NFC Championship, can it?
No, they've beat them more recently.
Okay, then I have no idea.
2008, December 11th, 2008.
That sounds about right.
They've played it 7 times since then. 8 times.
We're gonna lose to poverty.
Sorry, 8 times. So, like, dude, you know how bad I wanted to pick your team over mine just because of that? Like, I think we're breaking the streak.
Should we get into my schedule prediction?
Yeah,
let's do it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I have them
17-0 like last year.
I have them starting 0-4. Now that I'm a full-time pod member, I will be as unbiased as I possibly can be with the Saints team. I have them starting 0-4. I have them beating the Giants. I have them losing to the Patriots. I have them then winning back-to-back games. I have them beating the Bears. I have them beating the Buccaneers, losing to the Rams, losing to the Panthers, going into that bye week. What is that? 3-7. 3-7. And then I have them coming out of the bye, beating the Falcons again at home like they did last year, losing the next 2 on the road, Miami and Tampa Bay. Can't sweep Tampa, sadly. They're going to beat Carolina, and they're going to beat the Jets. They're going to lose to the Titans. They're going to lose to the Falcons. They're going to finish 6-11, the exact same record as the Good Vibes Panthers, in my opinion.
Hey, Matt, you know what I took away from that, though?
Mm-hmm.
We got to go to that game, dude. I think we have to go to that game, dude. I don't know. Just saying. Putting it out there.
Could be fun.
Probably have to.
And it's not.
I don't know.
The thing is, too, don't hit me with you gotta go to a Bears weather game. No, you don't.
October.
Someone
Dude,
who's done
Bears
it. It's not fun. But that being said, this is October 19th.
Dude, Bears weather in October is beautiful.
That's what I'm saying.
Blue jeans on
this
and a sweatshirt.
October 19th, fantastic.
That's the perfect time to go.
I know some Bears fans that are like, well, it's not early December, so it's not a Bears game. Get out of here. I don't know what you're talking about. I was miserable.
What does the Bears weather mean? They scored 3 points in Bears weather last year against the Seahawks. It doesn't make any. It's not real. Weather isn't real. So yeah, I'm yanking it. I think you guys doubling your win totals, you get the same as mine. I have 6 wins. Obviously, I'm going to be the most optimistic. Again, this division, I think it is going to be so hard for this team to lose 14 games unless Shuck is like a nightmare, which I just don't believe he's going to be. Scouting him and how much experience he has, and it's kind of like not overinflated experience because of the amount of injuries he's had, but I think what Kellen Moore can do for an offense, just going from that's awesome putting that in the air. What the hell, man? I didn't do anything, but yeah, it's just also this team not having any primetime games is kind of interesting, but I'm not mad. You know, I don't. The whole country doesn't need to watch the Saints team. It's for me. It's for the Saints fans to kind of soak in this season and kind of soak in what could come of the future, frankly. So, yeah. I mean, I think do we have any takes for this team? Do you guys have any takes? Is it like they're gonna be picking number 1?
No, I don't.
My take is that
I think the Giants are worse. I'm still and
I like
obviously
Giants defense much better than I like the Saints defense.
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy.
But
you'll beat them. It'll be okay.
Yeah, we will. Oh yeah, we'll beat them.
Yeah.
I mean, I would put a friendly gentleman's bet on that game. I think that would be fun. But that's regardless. I mean, my take for this kind of part of the episode actually might be not Saints related. It is, we might have just heard the best podcast quote for the Pigskin Project. Matt Hartman, weather's not real. That is fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we have one more thing to dive into.
I have one more.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, the Saints.
I have one more thing to hit on the Saints. So, I'm going to be writing about the Saints this year. So I'm really excited to independently write about the Saints this year. I'm going to be doing like film reviews for this team this year. Yes. I am so jazzed about this team that I need to do it, and I'm going to this year. I'm going to start over the course of the next few weeks when training camp comes out. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be in attendance, but I can write about the team from afar. So I'm going to be doing that this year. If you are a Saints fan on YouTube, just check it out. I'll leave the link in the description for you to go find that out. Pretty excited, pretty nervous to do it, but at the same time, like, this is what I want to do. So write about the Saints. And what is a better time to drum up interest than before they're good, before Tyler Shuck has taken them all the way. So
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, be on the lookout for that, guys. I will be. So it's going to be fun. We have one more point to get to. I know we've been live for a while, so to the few of you that have been watching live, greatly appreciate it. To everybody on YouTube land that, you know, will be discovering this stuff later, also appreciate you. Shamar Stewart, guys, let's talk about him for a little bit, and then we'll get off of here. So right now, in the middle of contract disputes with the Cincinnati Bengals, he is not reporting to practice, and he is reporting to practice with the Aggies. He will be at least practicing with them for now. They're practicing at Texas A&M. Very interesting, but I'm going to leave it to the college football heads as far as what that could mean to clear up any kind of smoke and you know what they think could happen.
Sorry, excuse me.
Very good. Yeah, nice.
Really just super quickly. Nick Saban is not coming out of retirement. Stop talking.
Yeah.
Period. Anyways.
Yes. Let the man be in retirement. Let the man golf.
Yes. He's not coming out of retirement, but that's regardless of the point. Yeah, I mean, Shamar Stewart is basically practicing as if he's a player of the Texas A&M team. Like that is what is going on. He's practicing as if he's a player of the team. Again, there's a whole lot of mixed stuff kind of going out about like, well, if he returns, well, can he re-enter the draft and anyone draft him? Honestly, the short answer, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Matt can help me out here. The short answer to that is quite frankly, no one really knows what happens if he returns. Like, there are some people saying again that anyone can draft him. There are some people saying, well, and I think, again, this one makes the most sense, and Matt really laid it out well when we had talk. It makes more sense that the Bengals just retain his rights and he just hopes he gets traded somewhere, but we don't really know because it never happened before. But Matt.
Yeah, so the practicing it's like they're doing workouts and basic walkthroughs. It's not like full on pad level kind of things like that. So but it is still unique. It's not something that happens. Like guys like Marv, for example, a few years ago was actually a year ago, was still working out at Ohio State, like working out independently, just getting bigger for the NFL, but not to the extent that it is rumored that Stewart is. So that's and the very public contract dispute makes it even more, magnifying. So that's where it's at with Stewart. Like, again, you could look up everything. Anything I see is that the Bengals would still hold his rights. And why I also believe that is because, well, any underclassman who comes out into the draft, any junior who says I don't know, say he's drafted in the 5th round by the Colts. you would just go back to the draft. You just go back to college. Then it doesn't work like baseball, because I know you can do that in baseball. It's like you get drafted as a high schooler. You just, all right, whatever. I'm not going. But it's one of the more fascinating situations. Obviously, with Jahdae Barron also signing, he's the last first rounder to not be signed, and it's this whole language in the injury, like the injury guarantees. If he gets a non-football injury, he loses a lot of money, doesn't become fully guaranteed anymore. So obviously there's just a desire, it's not, I just don't want to, it's not like a one-of-a-kind contract. I've learned over the past few weeks, from my interpretation, it was, but it seems other teams have used it before. The injury guarantee language, but because it's the Bengals and because of what their reputation is, Stewart is not going to just sit down and be like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. So
the fix to this, and I'm just going to put it as bluntly as I possibly can here. The easy fix to this whole situation is for the Bengals to stop being scumbags.
Better quote.
That is the as bluntly as I can put it. Just get rid of it. Get rid of that clause, and you're fine, and then everything is good. But they're just scummy. That's how the Bengals operate, and I hate to say it, but they just, as Matt just said, they have a history of operating in this way. And to be frank, I'm glad that Shamar Stewart said, no, I'm just not going to do this. You can trade me, because I'm not going to let you be, I'm not going to let you do this to me like you've done to other players in the past. And I love that Shamar Stewart is using his player power to do that, because most players probably wouldn't.
Yeah. No,
So
it's a tough situation to be in, for either party right now. I mean, but it's going to be exciting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, any closing comments before we close this thing out?
We'll stay tuned. Again, sealing this one for Matt as well. And if we have time to talk about it next week, I'm sure we'll talk about it next week. But let's just say IU is definitely
they're daunted, dude.
They're daunted.
Oh
They're
my god.
But we'll dig it. That's a little bit of a teaser for the 5 people that are watching live.
No. I'm using my closing thoughts. They backed out of Virginia, Ben. What do you have to say for yourself?
You can't.
Austin P.
Can't hate the player. Hate
Gross.
The game. If it works,
no. The problem is that Cignetti is so vocal, and he's like, "Google me," and it's like Ohio State sucks, and then it's like Austin P over Virginia, dude. And I get it's not his call, but
no.
Yeah, it looks horrible, dude.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. The college football committee has to do something about it. If they set the precedent that wins is the only thing that matters, IU will not be the only team that will pay out Power 5 conferences or Power 5 teams to get them off of their schedule to play cupcake games. And again, that is all because of the precedent that they set. Now imagine how much worse it's going to get when it bumps to the 16 seed, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the seeding plays out for that and how the bidding works out for that. They got to do something about it. I mean, as a college football fan, taking my IU fandom out of it, it's gross. It's gross that this is going to work for them, because it will. Don't change it.
Let me ask a question. Again, very casual college football fan. Why would Austin P do this? You know what I'm saying?
Money.
Because they get paid.
Money.
They legitimately get paid. Because in the NIL era, they need money. They need money. And Indiana is a way of income.
These big schools will pay out these smaller schools.
I figured that it was that. I just didn't know if it was just that.
You pay for a win. You pay for a win. So that's why when Jacksonville State beats Florida State a few years ago, it means so damn much.
Or Marshall against Notre Dame, Illinois.
Illinois.
The
Yeah,
Huskies
Northern Illinois.
against Notre Dame just last year.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my closing comment to say it feels great to be back. You know, I don't know if I mentioned this on our group chat or not, but I know I text Ben specifically about this at least. It ate me up not to be here over the last couple weeks. You know, I think, you know, looking back on it, if I totally like tried to, I totally should have been here
don't
2
think
weeks
about
ago.
that.
No.
Yeah, don't
But
think
like,
about that.
no, but like not last week. I don't think I could have done anything about last week. But 2 weeks ago, when Chipotle was hitting, I totally could have just been
Hey,
like,
you hopped
"Hey,
on.
listen,
You
pinch
hopped on.
it."
You got the best Weddle moment in history.
You hopped
Kyle
on
Pitts.
for Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts
Yeah,
squared.
Kyle Pitts squared. Yeah, I was there for that. But nonetheless, I just want to say, like, it feels good to be back on the show. There's a lot of moving parts in life right now, and you know, excited to see what's coming, and that being football, dude. Like, I mean, there's so much coming up, dude. Within the next like week, I believe, right? Correct me. It's either a week or 2 weeks. We're getting training camp stuff.
Yeah,
to
camps
where we're
are
gonna be-
starting next week.
we're gonna start hearing about training camp stuff, and then contract extensions, and then you know trade rumors and stuff like that. Before we know it, guys, week 1's gonna be here. Like, I feel like July 16th just fell into my lap. Like it's crazy because it literally feels like, you know, hey, it's Wednesday, but Friday was the 4th of July. That's what it feels like right now. And so, you know, I'm excited to be back doing the show that I love, but like, these guys can speak for me, man. It was eating me alive not to be here, but it was absolutely necessary. I cannot stress that enough. Time needed to be taken, and you know, that's where I'm at. So I'm happy to be back.
Ryan might not say it, but I'll be the one to say it. And then Ryan has expressed it via social media and definitely to other people as well. But at the top of the podcast last week, we had kind of addressed the incident as to why Ryan could not had made it.
Yeah.
That being said, this little group and community that we have created, I mean, it was so awesome to be able to see just people in general to band together to help Ryan and his family to reach their goal. And it is fantastic, and it feels wonderful to be a part of this tiny community that we've created that has been able to band together and really make that much of an impact on a family.
I was
going
to say, I don't know if I tweeted it out or not. I've been a little more active on Twitter as of recently. So here's the thing. I know I posted about it. Yeah, I posted about the goal itself, right? But I didn't post exactly what happened afterwards. So after the funeral last week, I mean, I was exhausted, man. Like I was staying up super late and everything just to be, you know, let you behind the curtain a little bit, and hardly got any sleep the night before. However, the blessing that Ben is talking about, man, it's crazy, because when I woke up from the nap after the funeral, come to find out, not just that GoFundMe had hit its goal, guys. It was all $11,000 that it costed to lay him to rest. That was completely covered, every single cent of it. And it's so crazy, man. It's so much more than what any of us could have really anticipated or really asked for. So, you know, if you contributed to that, you know, I cannot thank you enough. You know, and if you're here for it, if you know, were even just if I was in your thoughts at all, thank you so much. You know, we do have a pretty small community, but however, we've built a pretty tight-knit one of football nerds that all love the game just as much as we do. And you know, if in the slightest you even helped just by sharing it, you know, it means a lot, not just to me, but to these two goofballs as well that also mean the world to me. Because you know, these guys have been the most help that, you know, I could have probably ever asked for. So, you know, being back and everything, following all of that is huge. And I would say this, without your guys' support, and then without, these two goofballs, my co-hosts, my best friends, supports as well, I don't think I'd be sitting here right now. I think that it would be more so, I need to take more time off. I need to, find that passion again and blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, I think that I'm progressing through a lot more, passionate stuff in life that hopefully I'll be able to announce soon. And, that's that. So without getting too mushy and gushy and stuff, happy to be back. Appreciate the support, guys. Football's coming back soon. So, all smile here. We want to thank Spotify for Podcasters, Regional Radio Sports Network for now, and Uppercuts Grooming for helping us grow as a podcast. And until next week, this has been the Pigskin Project.